So this is gloating part, whatever.
You
I
love
just
it.
love gloating. I just adore it. Candace Owens, Elon Musk and Peter Thiel are demonic hybrids disguised as humans. So let's hear Candace, who will be joining the Charlie Kirk service if she gets euthanized by Mossad.
Telling you, I don't even think these people are human. Like, I look at Elon Musk and Sam Altman and Peter Thiel, and I'm pretty sure they're hybrid. You know what I mean? Like, they just look like an Apple software that I should be able to download at night, you know? Like, my phone's getting an update or something. It's something in the eyes. Like, I don't know. I'm like, I don't know if I stabbed you if you bleed, you know? I'm not going to stab them. But I don't know if they bleed all the way. I think a battery would fall out, you know what I mean? And I just get that sense. I've always known it was demonic. And people just get on board because, as we talk about in this book, they are using science and this idea of technology and this idea of transforming society for the better to indoctrinate us into accepting this. And it's wrong and it's backwards. And the main component of all of this is psychology, right? They're able to do it because of psychology, making you think that society has gotten better. Our kids have objectively gotten dumber. We've become fatter. We've become less healthy. We've become less emotionally sound. And yet they are convincing us that this is like humanity's great leap forward. We put a man on the moon, and he just like called them up and was like, "Hey, Prez, what's up? I'm up here. Yeah, it's so cool. It's really great. It's nice. Starry night up here. Camden, Texas, I go by in '69, and they get these people. They tell you like he's a genius. They're all right away. He's a genius. So we should just accept that Elon Musk is a genius because like all the writers who are obviously indoctrinated into the occult are telling us that this is the next person that we should worship. The establishment of Hollywood. It was all cults. They were all Aleister Crowley proteges who were just raping kids and summoning demons, and demons are real. So at the same time that they're summoning demons, they are making us all believe that faith is not real. And that has been, I think, the greatest trick that the devil ever played, right? Is making people think they didn't exist and making people atheists, making people believe that there's nothing, like you're here for a moment in time, because then it allows them to further tether us to their reality and to their God, which is money, right? Well, if you truly knew and believed, like I do, I actually know that this is not it. Like I know this is not it. But if you truly believed that, you wouldn't sell your soul. People think that that's just like an expression, oh, he sold his soul. No, you are literally selling your soul. Like when you tell lies and you go down a path of lying because you're so afraid of not having the security of a paycheck, or you're willing to do something terrible to maintain that job, or keeping your mouth shut to maintain that job. We're seeing it now with the Charlie Kirk case, right? You're selling your soul. Like there's a life after this. They have made you pledge your allegiance to their dollar because they know life is going on. They know that. They want you to literally sell them your soul. That's my personal belief. It's why I am religious. It's why I speak about, my faith openly, because I just know this is not it. And I just know these people are demons. I don't know. They just like, look at the way they breathe. Like, you know what I mean? Same thing. I look at Sam Altman. I'm like, look, I don't know. But I know that's not because I droid, obviously.
And here we are, Lady Gaga told senior staff and associates in 2017 that Charles is not human, but is a hybrid that shapeshifts between human and reptilian form. Could this be possible? So, William is now king in its extraordinary paragraph that will leave Harry and Meghan quaking. So, what's happened? He goes to the Vatican to get me exorcised, instead of which the Mail's reporting William's taken over power from Charles, who should have been energized by the Vatican exercising yours truly, instead of which he'd given up and passed the death goat Judah omegalization to Wills and Kate Mark II. And here, of course, we've got Perry, who is the Queen Witch of the royal family. who's been dissed. She, of course, has been shacked up with Trudeau, the saviour of Canada, who's done so much for Canada. And, of course, they can't have her being dumped by Bloom, dissing the power of the royal family and the Rothschilds because she's the Queen Witch. So, we had the Trudeau romance, and here we've got doing her Marie Antoinette, throwing birthday cake at the crew. If they're starving, let them eat cake, as millions around the world starve. So you can see why they promote the Perry Trudeau love affair, to show that no, the Queen Witch is doing very well, the royal family is doing very well, and none of you minions believe that the God Emperor is torturing them slowly and horribly, even though Charles has passed on the mantle to Wills, because he's the epitome of the bloodline of Lucifer. He's the king, and he had to run to the Vatican to exercise the God Emperor who's exercised. I'm exercised, am I not, Vinny? I'm drinking more beer. I've been beaching, and we've got what, 500 Russian disposables throwing themselves at me to no avail. So obviously the exorcism didn't work, and hopefully Wills will do better with Middleton Mark II. I think not. And here we've got the Nagwal woman, well, one of them. We've got the other one, the bald queen. Taylor Swift is hiding. Insiders reveal what's behind her secretive behaviour and the NFL's involvement. Let's be honest, Taylor should be in the news every day with a massive build-up to her hello wedding with a Pfizer butt slut, the wedding dress, the wedding venue, the wedding cake, the people who are invited to the wedding, the people who aren't invited to the wedding, where she's going after the wedding, where they're going to hold the pre-wedding, where they're going to hold the wedding. The NFL's been paying hundreds of millions to promote the NFL to fuckwits who wouldn't watch the NFL. For all of you listening, we know now that the Kansas City Chiefs have all the refs bribed, like in the NBA, so they win the Super Bowl for the humongous Kansas City Chiefs, and Travis Kelce, the Pfizer butt slut, win the Super Bowl for the third time with this glorious best of America marrying America's princess, instead of which she's in hiding. And this is according to the Daily Mail. All we've got is some blurry shot of her with this hag. That looks ugly. And Taylor. This is not what you expect from the hundreds of millions that the NFL has thrown at Taylor Swift to promote the NFL. And can the NFL rig the game so that the Kansas City Chiefs win the Super Bowl? That's the big question. And when will Taylor Swift marry the Pfizer butt slut? And when will we get any publicity? And when will she sell the rights to the Hello magazine? I'm just waiting. I'm getting fuck all here. I'm getting upset. Is she so affiliated that she's depressed that she's getting wedding and wants to drown herself. I think she might need psychiatric help. You gotta love the Mail. I love the Mail. I would tell all of you, subscribe to the Daily Mail, because if you want the deep states, who they're shitting on, the Daily Mail is the outlet for you. So, Sarah Vine, the Andrew Snowball thunders on, flattening all in its path. The question is, can the royal family outrun it? This is the bloodline of Lucifer, cameraman. What's happening here? They've got Lucifer's power, instead of which they're being pulled down by a fuckwit pedo, allegedly, and a pedo madam, allegedly, Andrew, and this pork-faced monster, Sarah Ferguson. I'm sure Prince William is just as keen as anyone else to sort out this mess, but the idea that he would threaten his cousins like that seems very unlikely, not to mention distinctly out of character. So things aren't well with the bloodline of Lucifer. As I say, either the royal family aren't the bloodline of Lucifer, or Lucifer's been sucked dry and all the power's gone elsewhere. I leave it up to you to decide where. So here's the bloodline of Lucifer, all of you Luciferians who are worshipping your bloodline, coming from Wills and Middleton, now Middleton Mark II, with Gormless, the Harlot and Lousy. According to the Mirror, the royal family's mouthpiece. So something's gone wrong. If I was the royal family, I would get MI6 to detain all the Daily Mail staff involved in this traitorous outburst against the bloodline of Lucifer. There is a good chance the King's brother, Prince Andrew, and Sarah Ferguson will go to prison, claims royal biographer. He should be arrested immediately on the online safety bill. So, the royal woes are far from over for Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson, as the leading royal biographers claim there is a very good chance the pair could end up behind bars. This is not good PR for the bloodline of Lucifer. Lucifer, if you're listening, you fucked up on your PR, and you obviously haven't got any power because your bloodline is hated by the British people who used to love them when the Queen was there. So obviously you've lost all your power, and obviously someone's controlling you to torture the royal family. I can't think who. Can you, Caravan? So, AI cracks ancient Sumerian text, adding immense proof to the belief that humans were constructed biological machines, and warning against cultural and racial assimilation. Let them never unite. So, the last one was about ancient Sumerian text, saying we're bioengineered. Why? As cattle to produce what, Tim? What might they be wanting from us? Oh, they might be trying to mine the conscious first, because this digital information that runs the quantum computer AI supercomputers of the aliens has an access to it. So may they be mining via bioengineered humans the conscious first? Well, that's bizarre, Tim. Nothing's happening that doesn't fit in with us being the only intelligent race in the universe. Ooh, I don't think so, because of course we've got this 3i Atlas going behind the sun, and soon it's coming out, and we'll see whether it's a comet, or, as the Chinese have shown, something that isn't a comet. So,
Russia's new.
After our latest video, the Russians seem to be a bit concerned, so they've got the nuclear cruise missile, which can easily be shot down by alien ships dropped from 3i Atlas, if it is a alien mothership, because they are slow moving and from space you can zap them with beam weapons. But what can't you zap with beam weapons? That's a kilometre down and can't be dealt with from above.
And louder. Just days after unveiling its Burevestnik missile, President Vladimir Putin has confirmed the successful test of another weapon, the Poseidon, a nuclear-powered underwater drone capable of striking NATO coastlines from the depths of the ocean. It's not just a weapon, it's a new era of deterrence. The Poseidon is built for one mission, to bypass all Western defenses. With a range of over 10,000 kilometers, it can travel silently beneath the surface for days or weeks, undetected by sonar. Its purpose? To deliver a nuclear payload large enough to create a radioactive tsunami capable of wiping out entire coastal cities, from London to New York, from Oslo to Lisbon.
You should know this. Yesterday we conducted another test, this time of another advanced system, the Poseidon underwater unmanned vehicle, which also has a nuclear power unit. For the first time, we managed not only to launch it from its carrier submarine using the starting engine, but also to activate the nuclear power installation under which the vehicle operated for a certain period of time. This is a tremendous success.
Western analysts have warned for years that Poseidon could render NATO's maritime defenses useless. Unlike traditional ballistic missiles, it moves underwater, slowly, deliberately, impossible to intercept, and when it reaches its target, it could detonate near a harbor, generating a radioactive wall of water that engulfs everything in its path. Ports, naval bases, and civilian cities alike. Even a single detonation could make an entire coastline uninhabitable for decades. The message is aimed squarely at NATO, with Washington, London, and Paris coordinating nuclear posture reviews and strategic deployments. Moscow is reminding the West that its second strike capability now extends beneath the ocean floor. Poseidon isn't just a deterrent. It's a psychological weapon meant to make Europe's coastal capitals live under a new kind of fear. In his remarks, Putin tied the test directly to Russia's ongoing war, calling it part of the effort to strengthen defense capabilities and ensure that Russian soldiers' sacrifices have meaning. For Moscow, each battlefield gain and each new weapon test now feed into one doctrine: total strategic depth. Russia is telling the world that its reach is limitless across land, sky, and now the deep sea.
So, after Russia gets the first strike and all of its nuclear weapons are destroyed, and the alien spaceships from 3i Atlas have shot down their nuclear cruise missiles, because it's easy from space, the only thing left is the Poseidon, which we've shown, and of course the only target for this to cause maximal harm to the alien enclave of America, of course, is Cumbra Vieja. And the super tidal wave, you can imagine blowing up the entire island and the tidal wave. So, let's see what we can find.
To stir. Beneath the surface, molten fury pushes toward the light.
Life carries on below.
Fishermen watch in horror as the sea begins to rise.
The ocean swells, a monster taking shape. In the deep, a wall of water rises toward the sky.
A lone cargo ship disappears in the shadow of the wave.
In the deep, a wall of water rises toward the sky.
A lone cargo ship disappears in the shadow of the wave.
New York stands in the wave's shadow. Minutes remain.
Panic erupts as the water towers above the city.
Miami's streets vanish beneath a roaring tide.
Island paradise turns to chaos in a heartbeat.
Lisbon's defenses crumble under the crushing surge.
Even the cliffs of England cannot stand against it.
The sun sets on a drowned city.
Ships lie stranded miles from the ocean's edge. Survivors cling to hope atop broken rooftops. Highways are gone, erased from the map. The world watches, stunned, grieving, and afraid.
Then calm, but the world will never be the same.
So, as you can see, that's just a volcanic eruption, but if you stick one of Putin's torpedoes up the arse of Cumbra Vieja, you can demolish the entire island. Not this baby tidal wave, but the entire island can be blown to fuck by a 2 to 100 megaton warhead, depending upon whether they build a special Cumbra Vieja killer, and the entire east coast and coast of Western Europe, and of course the English, get affiliated.
A slide from this mountain could kill millions of people in Europe and along America's eastern seaboard. Some eminent scientists warn that it's purely a matter of time till it happens. This is the volcanic island of La Palma, 700 miles off the northwest coast of Africa. It's a newborn baby island, barely past its 4 millionth birthday, created in the last stage of what geologists call the rock cycle. Volcanoes can form land in various ways. In Hawaii, lava gently pours from vents in the ground to build up almost horizontal layers of new rock. But elsewhere, as here on La Palma, more violent eruptions build steep-sided cones with surrounding layers of thick ash. Eruptions in the past 60 years have jolted this island to the core, creating a fault line, a crack you can walk through, along the island's central spine, 6,000 feet above the Atlantic Ocean. On the western side of the fault, the land fell 13 feet down, then stopped. Geologist Bill McGuire and other scientists say gas pressures could build up in a future eruption and crack open the island along this fault line. They have traced the fault for at least 9 miles along the island ridge. And they believe the fault is so long that when it cracks open, 500 billion tons of rock will slide thousands of feet down into the ocean.
Well, you can imagine when that gets a 2 to 100 megaton Poseidon up its arse, the whole island's going to come down. So this is just the thank God it happened scenario, not the Putin scenario. So one can see the first strike by America and the aliens, which wipes out all of Russia. The Russians have no chance against spaceborne weapon systems from an alien race, which of course has sequestered all of the AI and quantum computers, not only of the Americans, but everyone else too. Total hacking. So, it's either suitcase nukes and Tesla batteries, and or dropping this thing as the last hope to wipe out the alien infestation, which is called America. But let's see what the volcanic eruption thingy would do to the alien beachhead, their D-Day, which is called America.
No doubt about that. The problem is eruptions occur sometimes every 20 years, sometimes every 200 years.
Maguire paints a terrifying fantasy picture of what anyone standing on the top of the landslide would see and hear.
I don't know if anybody's heard the noise made by this amount of rock sliding against another great chunk of rock, but I always imagine it as if there are a million fingers scraping down a blackboard.
The slide will reach a speed of more than 220 miles per hour.
So you would be hurtling down the slope of the volcano. It would start to break up into smaller pieces as it entered the ocean, but by then it would already have displaced something like half a mile of water, which would be towering above your head, and that would be probably the last thing you'd ever see. Spectacular way to die.
Maguire believes the impact with the ocean will create a dome of water nearly 3,000 feet high.
This is a massive rock which is probably bigger than Manhattan Island, and when it collapses it will generate ocean-wide tsunami, which will be at least as devastating as those that struck the Indian Ocean.
The vast amount of energy pumped into the ocean will create what one scientist has called a mega tsunami. Tsunami waves racing out in all directions. Computer predictions suggest they could even travel 4,000 miles toward the eastern seaboard of the United States, losing some, but not all of their power along the way.
That wave will travel all the way across the Atlantic Ocean to the east coast of North America, but the water itself won't move all the way across. The individual particles in the water will transmit the energy to one another, and we can demonstrate that quite nicely on a pool table here, where the energy from this first ball I'm going to hit is transmitted through all the others to the last one.
Just as energy moves from ball to ball, so the landslide energy transfers from water particle to water particle across the ocean. As the landslide's energy approaches the coast, it builds up into a massive wall of water. These deep reds and blues are computer predictions of waves 100 feet high and more.
But luckily, when Putin's torpedo hits Cumbra Vieja, the whole island's going down. So instead of 100 feet high, we're talking 1,000 feet high. Because let's be honest, they don't like it up them. They really don't like it up them. So the Americans are going to be getting a wonderful water enema. And of course, who's allowing the Psy Lord to manifest this reality? Of course, the Nagwal woman, who's causing all the flooding. Which one of the Nagwal woman drowned herself? And there, of course, is Ophelia, the Nagwal woman Taylor, drowning to death because the King of Denmark, killed the father and took the piss out of her constantly until she killed herself. As I say, Taylor, there's no one taking the piss out of you. I'm just desperate that you haven't shut in Preston with the Pfizer butt slut because, of course, let's be honest, the Taylor Swift bloodline which comes from Zena LaVey and Anton LaVey from the Church of Satan, deserves Shannon Preston, and of course one of your sons with the daughter-in-law, according to your own video, the anti-hero video, which of course is controlling and collapsing reality, gets them to kill you for your money. So I do like happy endings. I'm just trying to get you babyfied Taylor as soon as possible with Shannon Preston. I'm not taking the piss, because of course Travis Kelce's your dream man, and of course the Kansas City Chiefs have been paying you fortunes with the NFL, and of course all the NFL referees are rigged to get the Kansas City Chiefs winning the Super Bowl. They should have won last year, but they were so bad even the referees couldn't rig the game, and the Philadelphia Eagles won it. But they're desperate for you to win the Super Bowl this year, so the NFL's been given the order, rig the games 24/7. If you look at the Kansas City Chief ref decisions, you'll see it's all rigged like the NBA. It's just filthy criminal scum. But I don't think the NFL and the Kansas City Chiefs are getting their money's worth, because you're in hiding. Taylor, don't go in hiding. You're being paid to promote the Kansas City Chiefs and the NFL, and of course all the build up to your wedding. So obviously something is wrong with the CIA programming of Taylor and her altars. She's in the wrong altar. As I say, they need to whisk her off to Montauk and get her reprogrammed. But anyway. So, this is how Ophelia dies. She's in a Rhode Island mansion on the coast. And remember, she's got a place in Florida, which is going to be completely covered by the tidal wave that Travis Kelce bought. So we've got two options, the Rhode Island mansion. So we got their home in Florida, and all of Florida is going to be covered by the tidal wave just from a volcanic eruption. So if Putin's Poseidon goes up the arse of Cumbra Vieja and drops all the island, hopefully Taylor and Kelce will be in Florida when all of Florida disappears under a 1,000-foot tidal wave. And the good thing about Naggle women is they allow the Naggle man to either pull himself into the fifth dimension, the third attention, or control chaos in any shape, form or function. So I've got the Bald Queen to Ukrainians, and make sure that America and NATO launch a first strike on Russia. And we've got this one to make sure that Taylor suffers the fate of Ophelia, and my options are she's in a Rhode Island mansion or in Kelce's Florida when the tidal wave hits. When Putin's Poseidon Rogers Cumbra Vieja and the entire island goes kaboom, because all of Russia's nukes are shot down and they're now the first strike, and all they've got left are their Poseidon. So if I'm Putin, I'd make sure that the Poseidons are sitting on the seabed somewhere, willing, able and ready to go, because Russia ain't long for the world. Russia's become a land of disposables in the alien future.